I'm Caitlin and welcome to Twig. At Twig, we discuss all things personal development with videos to help you achieve more success but with less stress. I post 2 videos a week, one on Tuesdays to help with productivity and motivation to help you achieve more success, and 1 video on a Friday that's more about relaxation and self-care to make sure you can stress less. So if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on the notification bell so that you'll be the first to find out when my next video goes live. So today we're talking about gratitude, what it is, how it can help you, and how you can incorporate it into your daily life. I first heard about it a couple of years ago, but I didn't really understand what it was, what the benefits were, whether it was actually scientifically proven to help, and I just kind of forgot about it. And it wasn't until last year, during the pandemic, that I started to actually do a bit of self-reflection like a lot of people did, and I was thinking about my sources of anxiety and what was worrying me, and I started to realise that one of my sources of anxiety was the fact that I was always chasing success. I was always looking for the next goal to meet, but then when I actually got to the goal, I'd feel a bit of satisfaction for a little bit, but then I'd be like, oh, well, what do I do now? So I was looking for ways that I could kind of ease my own anxiety and appreciate the things that I did have, and what I found was gratitude just kept popping up everywhere. So after doing a bit of reading, I started my own gratitude journal, which is literally just a notepad with a sticker on the front. So I wrote in this every day over the course of a few months, and gradually I could start to see my mindset shifting. I was starting to feel more satisfied with my life. One of the biggest changes that I noticed was that even when bad things did happen, I could see the positives, I could draw out the silver linings, and I wasn't getting stuck in a rut. I started to really see that happiness is found in the tiny things in life, and writing in my gratitude journal once a day, literally just for 10 minutes, helped me to see those small things and appreciate them for what they are rather than taking them for granted. So I'm going to talk you through the benefits of incorporating a daily gratitude practice into your life. I'm going to give you some suggestions on how you can actually do it, and I'm going to give you a few tips on how to make the most of the time that you've spent dedicating to gratitude. I've linked below a few scientific articles that show some research studies on the benefits of gratitude. But as a summary, here's a few of the proven benefits of practicing gratitude. So gratitude reduces stress, it improves relationships, it improves your mindset and your outlook on life, it increases resilience, it reduces materialism, it improves sleep, and it can even improve your body image. There's loads of other benefits, and if you know any more or have experienced any more, then just comment below. But how do we actually do gratitude, and how do we incorporate it into our daily lives? Well, there's a few ways. The first type is the one that I tried first, which is gratitude journaling. I incorporated it as part of my morning routine. So in the morning, I'd get out of bed. Before I even got dressed, I'd go downstairs, make myself a coffee, sit on the settee, drinking my coffee, and I'd get my gratitude journal out. And I'd literally just note a couple of things, like things that I'm grateful for that I wouldn't usually take the time to think about and really appreciate. So for example, my first entry was, I'm really grateful that I have all of my basic needs met. Food, water, shelter, heat, because it allows me to worry about other things such as work and how I'm going to progress. So come to think of it, I'm actually really grateful that I can worry about work and that I'm not worrying about having enough money to get by or where I'm going to get my food from today. So the next time I'm anxious about work, I can let it be a reminder of how lucky I am. So you can see how you can turn something that you're stressed and anxious about into something that you actually appreciate. There, I was clearly anxious about something that was happening at work, but I turned that into something that I was actually grateful for. I'm grateful for the anxiety because having the capacity to be anxious about work means that I've got my basic needs met that I don't need to worry about. So at first, I started off not really knowing what I was going to write, but I was thinking of things that I was lucky to have. So another entry was being grateful for a dog walk that I'd been on because it had really allowed me to clear my mind of all my worries. So I'd write about something that I was grateful for and then the reason why I'm grateful for it. So then if I had any extra time at the end, I would just write down a couple of lines about how I was feeling afterwards. And over time, from those reflections, I can see that even when my mood wasn't positive, I was able to identify that it was just a bad mood, it wasn't a bad life. I might be having a bad day, but the feeling will pass. Whereas before I started doing gratitude, sometimes I'd really get stuck in that for days. So that was a mindset shift that was really profound for me. And I really encourage you to try this method if you struggle with a low mood sometimes, which most people do. So if you're going to try the journaling method, start each sentence that you write with, I am really grateful for, and then write down what you're grateful for, and then do a couple of lines on why you're grateful for it. Sometimes you'll have loads to write about, and you'll have like 5 or 6 bullet points or little paragraphs. Other times, you might only be able to think of 1 or 2, but every morning, just get up, put it into your morning routine. It doesn't even have to be a morning routine, to be honest. honest. It could be a nighttime routine, but I found it really helpful doing it in the morning because it just really got my day off to a positive start. Right, so that was journaling. The next one is a quicker version, which is doing a couple of bullet points before bed. So this is the method that I'm using at the minute. I mentioned in a previous video, the one that I did on sleep, how I have this book that I write in every night before bed, and I basically use it to plan out my day, set a couple of goals for the next day. I'll write in just a couple of bullet points on things that I've been grateful for throughout the day. So this is a quicker method that doesn't take as long, because it's literally just before you go to sleep, what am I grateful for that happened today? What am I proud of? And just a couple of bullet points. So for example, one of the days this week I wrote, I'm grateful that I'm enjoying doing YouTube videos. So it's just little things. There's a little mood pick me up before you go to sleep, and that helps with sleep. If you're looking for any more tips on how to sleep well, then I did a video a couple of days ago on getting better sleep quality. So take a look at that if you're not sleeping very well. So the journaling and the bullet point method are both daily rituals, if you want to call it that you put into your daily routine. And I kind of see those as maintenance methods, moderating your everyday mood. And they're kind of preventative in a way, because you're writing about all the good things that have happened, which can help you avoid bad moods. But what happens when something really out of the blue occurs in life? Life throws you a curveball, you weren't expecting it, you didn't want it. It doesn't matter how much daily gratitude you've been doing, that event will probably really bro you. And so I've found that doing one-off gratitude practices, where you really dedicate a big chunk of time to it, so an hour or so, to really sit down and think about the things that this situation has taught you that you can be grateful for. Because it doesn't matter what situation you're in, even the most terrible of situations, there are still things that you can be grateful for, and you owe it to yourself to point those out to yourself. It helps you interrupt the negativity with intentional pieces of positivity. Yes, things might not be going as planned, but there's always things to be grateful for. You literally just need to look for them. So, for example, quite recently, very suddenly and unexpectedly, I had to leave a job that I really love. I thought I was going to be at the company for a really long time. I thought I was going to build a great, successful career for myself there. And not only that, but I tied my self-worth to my career and my accomplishments at work. So to me, this felt like a massive failure and kind of an embarrassment. It would have been so easy for me to sit back, retreat into myself, and just ruminate and be upset about the whole situation, because it's not what I wanted. But before it ever got to that point, I did a one-off gratitude exercise to try and flip the way I was feeling about the situation around. I physically wrote down everything that I was grateful for that the job had given me. So it had developed my confidence. I'd learnt new skills that I wouldn't have learnt otherwise. I made new connections that I wouldn't have made otherwise. And I experienced situations that I would have never experienced otherwise. And when I looked at it like that, I stopped seeing the period of time that I spent at that company as a waste of time, because it wasn't. I saw it as a springboard to get me to my next stage in life. And now don't get me wrong, I still went through all the feelings of loss and anxiety and stress and annoyance about the whole situation. And to be honest, I still do sometimes. But my overall outlook in general completely shifted. I feel much more positive about the situation now, and I used it as motivation to help me start this channel. So fingers crossed, I'm going to end up in a much better place because of it. So if something major happens in your life, and I am fully aware that that is not the worst thing in life that could happen, that's just something that happened to me recently. But if something major happens in your life that you weren't expecting and that you didn't want, just try out this one-off exercise. Set aside an hour or so to really give it the attention that it deserves, and sit down and think about all of the things that you are grateful for. Set an hour aside to really give this activity the attention that it requires, and take control of the situation by thinking about all of the things that it's made you grateful for. So that's an option if something really huge has happened in life. But if you're just in general feeling a bit lower than usual, you're in a bit of a bad mood and your daily practice isn't really helping you get out of it, you could try a gratitude jar. So this is literally a jar or a pot or a box or something that you keep in your house. And whenever you're feeling a bit low, there's pieces of paper that you've written in there that you folded up, you take one out and you read it. So get a few sheets of paper when you're in a good mood, sit down and write down literally everything in life that you're grateful for. Are you grateful for your family? Are you grateful for the roof you've got over your head? Are you grateful for the food that's on the table? Really small things, or even big things. It can be anything, just little short sentences. Write them all out on paper, cut the slips of paper up, fold them up and put them in a jar, so that when you're not in a good mood, you can literally just walk past, take one out of the jar, read it and be like, huh, yeah, actually, that's true. It really helps. So they're my suggestions on how to actually incorporate gratitude into your daily life. So there was 2 suggestions for a daily practice and 2 suggestions for just ad hoc activities that you can do when you need them. So now I'm going to give you some tips on how to actually make the most out of your daily or ad hoc practice. And the first one is that gratitude is an emotion, it's not an activity. So by writing down and forcing ourselves to think about the things that we're grateful for, we're trying to invoke the emotion of gratitude. Just like when we think about happy times, it makes us happy. So make sure you're actually engaging with what you're writing down. Don't just write the words out and then forget about it. Really try and feel the emotion in the words that you're writing. And it might take a few days or it might even take a few weeks to actually start feeling the gratitude that you're writing about. But be persistent with it because I promise the benefits are worth it. So my next tip is to use the gratitude sessions to point out the positives from the negatives. So for example, like I was saying earlier, I was feeling anxious about work in one of my entries in my gratitude journal, but I turned that anxiety into a positive that I was actually grateful for. I said I'm grateful to have a job to go to and that I actually have the opportunity to be anxious. And I would have never ever, like at the start of last year, thought to myself, anxiety is going to be something that I'm grateful for or that I see as an opportunity. But now I genuinely do see anxiety. I still feel the anxiety the same way as I did before, but the way I see it has changed. So I see it as an opportunity for personal growth. If I'm anxious about something, that means I'm uncomfortable. And if I'm uncomfortable, that highlights room to grow. So my other tip is aim for a mindset shift. At first, if you've never done anything like this before, it will feel forced. It will feel a bit strange because sitting down and literally writing I am grateful for and then whatever you're grateful for, it is strange. Just trust me, roll with it. It works. And so what we're aiming for is that mindset shift. It's learning to draw out the positives from what you perceive to be negatives. And gratitude does teach you how to do that over time. So in negative situations, when you're feeling out of control, gratitude helps you feel more in control again. And that's what anxiety is most of the time. It's just when you feel out of control. So it puts the power back in your hands. So the next tip is to target gratitude towards the areas of life that you're not particularly happy with or that you perceive to be not very good at the minute. So for example, if you're struggling with the way that you see your body, you're struggling with your body image, you're comparing yourself to others all the time and it's just making you feel really down, write down some things about your body that you're grateful for. If you're in a state where you really don't like your body, you're not happy in your skin, there are still things that you can be grateful to your body for. For example, you're grateful that you can walk around and that your body can get you to places that you need to go. Or you're grateful that you can use your mouth to speak and communicate with people and foster relationships. Or you're grateful that you can see your eyes because you can see and you can interpret the world around you. There's so many things that you can be grateful to your body for that go past appearance and they go past society's attitude towards bodies. So doing that every day, if that is something that is really bothering you, can help you flip the way that you see your body and you can grow your own appreciation for it. You don't have to love the way it looks, but just appreciate what it does for you. If we intentionally change the way that we see things and grow an appreciation for them in a way that we would have previously taken for granted, that is what gratitude is about. It's about noticing the things that you were taking for granted at the moment. So the next tip, or it's not really a tip, it's more of just a thing to note. Just because you're grateful for things that you have doesn't mean that you'll become stagnant in life and that your ambition goes out of the window because you've settled for what you've got. That is not the case, because that's what I used to think. I was like, well, if I sit back thinking, oh yes, I'm so happy that I'm in this situation in life, that might make me comfortable and I might not push myself to achieve more. That's not the case at all. As I was saying previously, gratitude has stopped me being as scared to fail. So it means that I take more risks and that I push myself out of my comfort zone more, because I know that if I did fail or if something didn't go the way I wanted it to, I can deal with it. I can point out the positives, I can learn from the mistakes, and I'm not scared of it anymore. So it turns out that actually gratitude, rather than making you comfortable in your situation, which it does do, it also pushes you to achieve more and go further than you probably ever would have. So the next tip, gratitude is a state and a trait. So the aim of a daily gratitude practice is to make a habit of being grateful and to adopt that as one of your innate traits that you don't have to think about, it just comes naturally. If you can do do that, that'll increase your resilience to life. As I was saying before, it makes you less scared of failure because you know and truly believe that you can deal with it. You'll be able to identify the positive, the learning points, the silver linings in any situation. But that's not to say that you'll never respond negatively to any situation ever again, because you will. That's human, it's normal. Sometimes things happen in life that you don't want or need, that you don't deserve, that completely change your life, that are just terrible. For example, losing a relative, or losing a job, or maybe even losing your house. That's happened to a lot of people over this pandemic, and at first glance you might think, why would I ever be grateful for that? And I can see that. That's an awful situation to be in. So if something like that happens to you, it's part of the normal grieving process to feel devastated, to feel the loss, to feel the anxiety, to feel the anger, and to sometimes feel like it's difficult to continue on. Gratitude won't get rid of those feelings, it doesn't replace them, but what it does do is make those situations easier to deal with. It helps you intersperse those negative emotions with just pockets of positivity and feelings of being grateful for what you do have now. And you won't feel positive and optimistic all the time, but at least you'll feel like that some of the time. So I hope that all helped you see how profoundly gratitude can really affect your life. If you enjoyed today's video, please like it and subscribe to my channel because I'll be making loads more videos like this in future. Please let me know in the comments if you give gratitude a go and how it affects you. Or equally, if you're already trying gratitude, put some tips in the comments to help everyone else, because I really want Twig to become a community of like-minded people that help each other and that help each other grow and get better. So please chat to me and each other in the comments. If you'd like me to go into any more detail about any of the points I've discussed, just let me know. So Tuesday's video is going to be on fixed and growth mindsets and how you can use those mindsets to help propel you further forward in life. If that sounds like something that you're going to be interested in, then please tap the notification bell to be notified when that video goes live. As mentioned in my previous videos, I've got a website in the works, www.twig.club. I've linked to the website below. It's still a work in progress, but if you input your name and email address on the homepage, you'll be one of the first to find out when that website is live. It'll be a place to find more content from me in between videos. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on Tuesday.